Such a pleasure to speak with you all. I really enjoyed French Girl. And Zach, I spoke with the co-director, Nicholas Wright, and he was just full of so much praise for your help and how your director's eye really helped the script and them kind of, hone in on what this film was about. Can you speak to that collaboration and just how being a director yourself kind of aids your acting?
Well, thank you. That's a great question. I think, these guys were first-time filmmakers, and I told them when I met them, I said, I don't want you to ever think I'm going to step on your toes because I've made a couple movies. But if you ever want my advice or if you ever want to ask me my 2 cents, I'd be happy to give it. And it really was a great collaboration. Occasionally, they really allowed us to improv a lot, which I love, and they would sometimes ask me my take on something, and I think from a directing point of view, what I bring to my acting is keeping track of where we are on the story, because that's such an important thing for a director to do for the actors, because as most people know, we shoot completely out of order. So sometimes it helps me to be like, wait, I got to figure out where we are in the story because that's really going to inform what this scene is, because it is a bit of a skill set to shoot it completely out of order and have some sort of cohesive arc to the thing. But these guys were great. The fact that this is their first film was really impressive. They just did a really fantastic job, and most importantly, made it such a fun environment for the three of us to just crack up and really feel like we had a safety net. We could riff and be funny and not have to worry that there was any wrong answer.
Yeah, I would have never guessed it was their first film I'm watching. And Vanessa, you're such a scene stealer in this film, and I won't spoil the context, but fans will be glad that you do get to sing a little in this. How was it specifically singing with humor in mind? Because, you're not really trying to sing to your best ability, but to what's funniest for this scene. So how was it kind of finding that balance?
Yeah, I feel like normally just coming from musical theater, I'm all about like repetition and like honing it in and locking it down. And with this, I was like, you know what, we're gonna be way looser with it, and try to make it like good, but cringe, mainly cringe. So I really let go of any of my perfectionist attitudes when it comes to singing and just let it rip, and just kind of come unhinged a little bit, which is always a lot of fun.
It's so much fun to watch. And Evelyn, this is such a fun role for you here because you have such a chaotic family and you're very much the straight woman in this scenario. Everything's so wild, beyond you. So how is it kind of just reacting and having a straight face while everybody else is just being ridiculous?
I felt like that was my job. I felt I kind of knew that I had to sort of keep the rom going while the calm was happening. It was really hard because sometimes I had to be in a super emotional zone when these guys were just improving like through the roof. Like their rivalry was so hilarious. It was really hard to keep not even a straight face, but a sad face. But as you said so nicely, Zach, our job is to, help the story. And I knew that I had to stay in that zone, but it was definitely a challenge because they were amazingly hilarious.
For sure. And Zach, we haven't seen you in a romantic comedy since like 2006, and there's just something about you. I'm always rooting for you to fall in love in these movies or in Scrubs. And so what about this script really just made you want to jump back into this genre?
To be honest, it just made me laugh so much. I never would have done one of these if I was reading it and going, I guess if they get the right cast and everyone improvs, and I would never. That's too much of a roll of the dice. It all comes down to a good script. If you have a great script, then and they cast it well, then you've got a really good shot at something good. And when I read this, I couldn't believe they were making. Hollywood has gotten to the point where when you read a good script, you're like, wait, are they really making this? And if so, can I please be a part of it? I mean, that's how I felt when I read it. I was like, wait, this is on offer to me and it's being made. This is fucking great. So I was so excited.
And then Vanessa, my last question. Nicholas was full praise for your comedic acting, and you're so great in this film. What do you find most rewarding about doing comedy? Because in this you get to show off so much, your timing, your delivery, just facial expressions. How's it been kind of honing that side of your acting?
I mean, it's so much fun. I think that like having an amazing cast and great directors leading you every step of the way is so key, honestly, because you can have an idea of where the scene is going, and if it's not in tone with what they had for the scene before, it's just not going to play. So I'm very grateful to Nick and James for like holding my hand, being there with me throughout the entire thing, and guiding me into the right direction. But it's always so much fun. It's just also a great character, and as broad as it is at times, I think that there is a groundedness as well, which I'm really proud of.
For sure, there's a lot to be proud of. Congrats on the film, and thank you guys so much for the time. This was such a pleasant surprise, this film. So thank you guys.
Thanks.